Back in 2011, a little known artist named Adele released an album called 21. I had never heard of her before, but when that album came out, it didn't just show up, it took over the whole world. And like a lot of people, I discovered her through those powerhouse songs like Rolling in the Deep, Rumor Has It, and Set Fire to the Rain. The first one I heard was Rumor Has It, and I was hooked. The voice, the emotion, the power, it was iconic. Adele quickly moved onto what I jokingly call my A-list. And ironically, a lot of my favorite artists happen to start with the letter A. There's AJR, Ariana Grande, Christina Aguilera, and of course, Adele. I don't know why that is, it just happened. But Adele was the one who started it all. Now, fast forward to 2026. I'm sitting in the sauna at my gym one evening, and there's a pool right next to it. And sometimes they run water aerobics classes with loud, upbeat music. So even inside the sauna, you can hear the playlist pumping through the speakers. There was maybe 2 or 3 people in the sauna with me that night. One guy had his headphones in, and another guy looked probably half asleep. And then we heard the song switch, and it was Rolling in the Deep by Adele. And suddenly, the woman sitting on the lower bench starts singing quietly along with the song. Not loudly, not performing, almost like she forgot anyone else was there. But even at that whisper level, I could tell she was spot on. Pitch perfect, smooth, effortless. You could just tell this woman, she could sing. Now, the sauna is the kind of weird place that you don't really start a conversation, so I didn't say anything. But a few minutes later, we both leave, and by coincidence, her locker is basically about 3 or 4 away from mine. So I finally said, "Hey, can I ask you something?" And she said, "Yeah, sure, what's up?" And I said, Can you sing that Adele song at full power?" She paused. You know that moment when someone realizes someone else heard them doing something they didn't mean to show? Then this little smile creeps across her face. She nods and she said, Yeah, I can." And I told her, "That's amazing. If I could sing like that, man, that's like a dream to me. When I get to heaven, I'm gonna be like, all right, God, everything's perfect, but also, can I sing like Adele?" And she chuckled hard. But then she paused for a second, and she said something that stuck with me. She said, "Yeah, it kind of sucks though, because having a gift like that, but it also means it's hard to get paid to use it." And I really never thought about that. She explained that she had friends who tried singing gigs on the weekends, but it's hard to book shows. It's hard to get paid, and by the time you buy equipment, pay for lessons, and put in the time, it's basically like a second full-time job that barely breaks even. And then she said something I'll never forget. It's like God gives you a gift, this beautiful gift, and you never really get to use it. And that sentence hit me, because at first I realized something about how we treat artists. I've traveled to different parts of the world, and you can see a deep appreciation for the arts. Opera, theater, orchestras, street musicians, singers. There's a cultural respect for creativity. But sometimes here in America, we seem to take that for granted. We hear incredible talent, see incredible work, and we just kind of keep on walking. But then a second thought hit me. Some gifts are obvious. If someone opens their mouth and sings like Adele, everyone in the room knows it's special, instantly. But not all gifts are that obvious. Some people's talents show up in leadership or problem solving or building businesses or helping people grow or creating things that no one else can see yet. And those gifts, they're just as real. But here's the truth about all of them. Every gift still requires work, even the obvious ones. A voice like Adele's, it's a gift, but becoming Adele, well, that took years of effort, risk, rejection, and persistence. And the same is true for the rest of us. My gifts aren't as obvious as singing. In fact, If I start singing right now, you might pay me to stop because your ears would be bleeding. But the talents I do have, I still have to work at them, just like anyone else. And if I could go back to that moment in the locker room and say just one more thing to that lady, it would be this. Don't hide your gift. Don't give up on it because it's hard. Don't bury it in the back of your life because the world hasn't figured out how to pay you for it yet. Because if you were given a gift, whether it's music, creativity, leadership, teaching, building, encouraging, inventing, then it was given to you for a reason. Yes, you might have to work 2 jobs for a while. Yes, you may have to push through obstacles. Yes, you might have to take risk. But gifts aren't meant to stay locked in the closet. They're meant to be shared. So if there's something in your life right now, something you're good at, something that lights you up, something you've quietly boxed up and pushed aside, I want to encourage you. Take it back out. Work on it. Share it. Because one day, you just might surprise the world. And who knows? One day, someone might hear you the same way I heard that woman in the sauna and think to themselves, wow, they might be the next Adele.